The Confederacy of America is the one evil of the world? What do you think these people came from? These people came from West Africa. They got sold into slavery by their own people. What do you think they were doing in Africa? They were killing each other. They were enslaving each other. What do you think the Zulus were doing in Africa before we got there? Raping, pillaging, killing. This is the essence of tribalism. You have to bear in mind, they are 13.2%. So the number of murderers that they have, well, here's the number. It was 4,729 for white people, who are 77.7% of the country. For the 13.2%, it was 5,486. That is not per capita, folks. That is grand totals. So in other words, even though white people outnumber black people by over 5 times, close to 6 times, there's close to 6 times as many white people as black people. Black people still have more murderers than white people, by a long shot. Imagine if the country was 77.7% black. Well, fucking riddle me that fuckity-doo-dah. Imagine what that might be like Jamaica, one of the murder capitals of the world. Tons of black people there. They're killing each other at record numbers. Or tra-la-la your way down to South Africa or Liberia or Zimbabwe and check the murder numbers there. They're absurd. You won't see a study on that, by the way. Let's look at Jamaica, the white murders in Jamaica and the black murders in Jamaica. I might do a whole video just on that. Oh, you will not be comfortable with those results. Oh no. Oh no. You better get your words locked and loaded. Geopolitical, socioeconomic, slavery. Get it all ready. I want to hear all the excuses. You want to talk about Trayvon Martin? Oh my God, Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was a thug. That guy was headed nowhere. You want to know about Trayvon Martin? First of all, the victim. Yeah, he was the victim of a gunshot after he attacked a guy. The guy was following him. George Zimmerman, total asshole, don't get me wrong, but Trayvon Martin started a brawl. He turned him, confronted him, and punched him repeatedly. So, yeah, he's the victim of a gunshot. He's not some innocent cherub walking around, floating around on a cloud. I'm sorry, nobody's calling him a thug because he got shot. You fucking moron. He's a thug because he was a thug. Because he was up to no good, punk-ass, young, black male. Everybody knows that. Do you know what his Twitter account name was? Mine is Atheist Rue. Do you know what his was? No Limit Nigga. No Limit Nigga. Is this the Rhodes Scholar of whom you're speaking of? The Boy Scout? By the way, I'm a Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout. Maybe I should post up my Eagle Scout acceptance speech video. So maybe if Twitter was around when I became an Eagle Scout, I would say Eagle Scout for life. But I guess, you know what I wouldn't put my Twitter account as? No Limit Nigga. Let's look at some of his tweets. Here's a retweet. Ha ha ha. Ho, you got used for your loose ass pussy. Tighten up. Hashtag literally. You the type of bitch that give up. We've lost a real asset to our community. You know, it's always sad when somebody dies, especially if they kill themselves or if they're accidentally killed. That's a tragic thing. Now let's get real for a split second here. Freddie Gray was a total fucking disgrace. A career criminal. So let me just start by saying, fuck you, Freddie Gray. Let's look at what he was arrested for. This is what he was caught for. Not what he was doing and getting away with. What he was caught for. Arrested for dealing cocaine. Possession of narcotics. Illegal gambling. Arrested again for possession of narcotics over 10 grams. Manufacturing and distribution of narcotics. Reaction to it. Now here they are. Here are the 6 cops that are being charged. Now, my first impression is I'm sort of happy with this and I'm sort of not. So a part of me is really in favor of these cops being arrested and finally getting the punishment they deserve for being racist. And then the other half, I feel like maybe they weren't to blame or maybe they were just doing their job. I'm split on this. I feel like some of them probably operated because they have hateful feelings towards a guy who has committed 23 crimes and who is single-handedly poisoning an entire generation of a city in the United States. But then part of me feels like maybe this is sort of scapegoating and it's a big mix-up. Yeah, I'm really torn here, almost torn down the middle, almost torn in half on this issue, because when I see these 6 images, part of me, but actually half of me, exactly 50% of me, wants to blame slavery. I want to blame an entire race of people for this. And then the other half of me wants to say, well, maybe we should look at the actual details of what happened here, and maybe this wasn't intentional, and maybe we should acknowledge that this was a career criminal. So it's really confusing. I'm not sure how to deal with this image. So now, it gets really tricky, but really I want you to focus down here where it's almost like a trick question here. This one's really hard. Now try to pay attention here. This is a cop, so fuck the cops, fuck the cops, fuck the cops. But here's the curveball. She's not white, she's black, so she is an oppressed minority who has suffered under the regime of white terror and white supremacy that people like myself and basically every white person in America has subjugated her underneath. But here's an even further curveball. Her name is White, which you can't really get behind. She is black, so it's almost like it's a 2-to-1. She is a cop, so that's 1 strike against her. She is black, so that pretty much eradicates the first strike, but then her name is White, which sort of reminds us of white people. Those fucking whites. So yeah, let's continue scapegoating white America and historical transgressions of white Americans who are not alive today. Let's continue spreading the blame and avoiding any sort of real talk as to what the hell is going on in Baltimore or in Detroit for that matter. Throw them in. Absolutely shameful, totally disgraceful, and these people should be called out on their bullshit, which I just did. Thank you very much. Good night.